Hello everyone and welcome to yet another look at this possible cold snap coming up. Definitely this weekend we'll be seeing some drier and frosty weather. However, there is a chance, and I must stress the chance only at this stage, of more cold weather, properly cold weather into next week with possible easterly or northerly winds. Only a possibility. But anyway, starting off with the NAO index. So as I said before, if the index is positive, we have the zonal flow with the high to the south of the Azores and the low over Iceland to the north. Therefore, winds in from the west. And if it's negative, we have blocking over Iceland and Greenland, and the lows and the jet stream shifted southwards towards the Azores, France, Spain, Portugal. Currently, in the positive phase of the NAO, we have high pressure centres just to our southwest, steering in a mild, moisture-laden, cloudy, westerly winds. But over the final days of November and into the first few days of December, we see a sharp plunge in the NAO, with most ensemble members going below this neutral line. So most members, bar these three, are going for a quite strongly negative NAO at the end of the month. This is a big switch on the last time we saw this, when this line, this black dash line, this mean of the ensembles was actually neutral to very slightly positive. So a big change has taken place, but we could easily see a change back to more positive indexes. So say we've seen quite a big advancement towards cold possibilities, but also this morning, I did post an update, and at the end of it, I showed you the failure of the Christmas 2021 cold spell. So obviously this could well turn into one of those quite easily, but at the same time, it could verify. So currently just a possibility. GFS 12 said run. Going towards Thursday, Friday, the high pressure goes towards Iceland and Greenland, pulls down this light northerly flow, brings some frosty nights over the weekends. Now into Sunday, we start seeing this trough move in from the west, combined with heights rising over Iceland and towards Scandinavia. That forces the trough eastwards and southwards on Monday, and in the ends, we pull in this easterly winds, and this easterly lasts for quite a while into Thursday as well. Friday, still the easterly wind coming in, possibly turning a bit northeasterly by then, so even colder. And Saturday, Sunday, blocking to our northwest, low pressure over the continents, classic negative NAO, and you're pulling in these cold northeasterly winds. Beyond that, we see the winds go northerly, and right at the very end, we could see a bit of a milder incursion here. But I think once this goes through, these northerly winds will push back. Upper temperatures with this run, something about Sunday. Now the focus is beyond Sunday really for this cold spell. We pull the -5 ice term in on Wednesday, and it sticks over us on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, possibly dying out a bit Monday, but still pretty much here. Tuesday, Wednesday, again that milder sector there on Wednesday before we go into colder on Thursday. Bear in mind, Thursday next week now. Actually no, Thursday 2 weeks out, Stephen. So obviously super long range, obviously unreliable, but just the trend here of blocking signals and cold weather could be on the way. The ECM WF run, I'll do this in 24-hour intervals because it's not fully out yet. Get rid of this, enable that. Okay, so Again, we know, very straightforward. Now that Friday's mess has sorted out, we're merely seeing a frosty night or two before we see this trough come in from the west on Sunday. Monday sees the trough go towards UK and Low Countries, pulsing easterly winds. Same on Tuesday, but on Wednesday we actually see a trough forming to our north. That is actually within quite cold air. So at nights, inland over high ground, there could be winteriness quite easily. Friday, 1st of December, we start seeing this cold northeasterly plunge in. On Saturday, the 2nd, we're into a northerly. Upper temperatures with this. So if we go through towards Tuesday, we have the Monday and Tuesday -5 ice into the east. Beyond that, we see some quite chilly air over us with that trough, so could be winteriness after dark over higher grounds, especially. Beyond that, we see some properly cold air coming from the north. If we compare this to the midnight ECM run, I'll just choose like Wednesday time. Tuesday, Wednesday time. Tuesday's chart was like this. And on the midnight run, it was like this. So definitely a lot colder. It's trended colder. It's trended towards the GFS. This is the UK Met run. Okay, so we know what's happening into the weekend. We're seeing some frosty nights. Then the uncertainty starts here. Sunday, we see this trough coming in from the west, combined with heights rising towards Scandinavia and Iceland. We put in a temporary easterly flow before the trough forms over us, quite similar to the ECM actually, and brings us some showery weather. I'm not sure that trough will be especially wet. I think it's more of a showery low than a low with fronts around it, you know. This is the upper temperature forecast. So we do pull in some cold air with that easterly flow. We get the -5 ice storm onto the east coast temporarily, before we see a milder sector with that low, but upper temperatures are still chilly, so if there's a system on that, it could turn wintry, especially over higher grounds. Then after that, we see some cold air with this trough, and this trough will probably move eastwards, and this blocking will help to pull in these cold northeasterly winds. So today, the 12-set runs have really changed, have really trended towards this cold spell next week from Tuesday or Wednesday onwards, some as early as Monday even, after that trough clears towards Europe. This is the GEM, so very straightforward up until Sunday. Here's where all of that stuff starts on Sunday. This trough comes in on Sunday evening, Monday morning, pushes towards France, but so by Tuesday morning at midnight, whereas these easterly winds, these easterlies continue, and actually veer northeasterly. They back northeasterly actually, and we go into this northerly flow towards the end of the month. I think into December we see some slight Atlantic influences, so possibly a bit less cold for a time, with the ridge sitting here, drawing the wind in from this direction here. But even then, this trough will come southwards to introduce this direct northerly flow. Upper temperatures with this starting on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday time. Monday, we see the 0 ice storm come through. On Tuesday, the -5 ice storm comes through. And it sticks around, possibly dying out for a time, but pretty much throughout the week. Again, we could see some more influence from the Atlantic for a time there into early December, but I think that this cold air is coming down. That was the GM. This is the icon. So all these 12-set runs so far are showing the cold coming back next week quite quickly, actually, from either an easterly or northerly winds. This is the icon, so very, very straightforward up until Sunday, as we know. This trough comes through on Sunday evening into Monday morning. This trough gets away very quickly, actually, so into the easterly properly on Monday. And the icon keeps it easterly into Tuesday, Wednesday time, Actually, by Wednesday and Thursday, the wind's backing northerly. Upper temperatures with this, looking like this. Okay, so on Monday evening, Tuesday morning, we pull in some cold air from the east, and the -5 ice storm comes to us by about Wednesday time. Thursday, cold air, winds backing northerly. Finally, the ARPEGE run. Looking at this. Okay, so here we go. What's the ARPEGE doing? Up until Sunday is when the interesting starts. On Sunday, we see the trough come through, and on Monday at 6 a.m. we're into this more easterly flow, but there isn't as much blocking to our north actually. But I do suspect that this ridge may move towards Greenland, and this trough may go south in the end to give us a northerly. Upper temperatures by then. They call us to the east, but quite far east. Anyway, still miles. I think the ARPEGE is the mildest run if we were to go forward with it, you know what I mean? Obviously, it only goes to Monday at 6 a.m., but I think that the outcome would be the mildest since the blocking is quite weak to our north. But anyway, compared to this morning's runs, the midnight runs, there's definitely a big shift towards colder weather next week. But must stress that as easily as that shift took place, it could easily undo itself tomorrow, and we may be looking at zonal weather. So, I think it's worth looking at the ensembles actually. Dublin, GFS run. Okay, so this is the GFS 12Z ensemble for Dublin. So as I said before, each coloured line, apart from this thick green line here, this thick white line, and the thick red line, is an ensemble member. That is a run that is each run from the GFS run. There are 30 of them, and they each start with a different position, and they come up with different outcomes. You can see a big bunch of them getting towards the -5 ice term from about the 28th onwards. That's about Tuesday. And they keep it going even into December. There are a few milder runs, so, as ever, uncertainty. Maybe they're hinting at something, or maybe they're just lagging behind and just totally off on the tangents. But definitely, at this stage, good agreement for a cold spell. Quite a long one, actually, from the GFS. The GEM ensembles next. Okay, so GEM ensembles have, I think, trended colder compared to the midnight run there. Yeah, they're trended colder. A bunch of them going down to about -5 from the 28th or 29th onwards. So cold spell forecasted by the GEM ensembles. The ECM ensemble, so 50. Is other 12Z runs out yet? That was these are yesterday's 12Z runs. Hang on a second. That's quite annoying. 6Z runs only get towards the 28th. That's not far enough out. We look at the midnight run anyway. But similar thing, from about Wednesday next week onwards, we see a plunge in these upper temperatures. But I wonder how the 12Z compares to the midnight run. But quite good agreement actually for this cold spell coming up for the end of the month and start of December. So I think this is definitely one to watch. Yeah, as ever with cold weather, we'll probably see wobbles with it. Mild air trying to ruin it, and who knows what's going to happen. But at the minute, quite high confidence for this cold spell to verify. Over the past day or so, these models have really latched onto it. So, all the best, and I'll see you next time. Exciting.